What's up? I'm Finger Beats, and you are watching Vision Vocal. Well, my name is Finger Beats. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I moved to Chicago a couple years back, and I am a house producer and DJ, primarily. I came out to Chicago for school. I was looking at a bunch of schools because I initially wanted to major in music business. So I was looking all around the country, saw Nashville, New York, whatever. But I slowly, as the process was coming closer to an end, I was really realizing I wanted to go into audio. And Columbia College Chicago was really one of the only schools besides NYU that had anything like audio-based, not necessarily like music composition-based, because a bitch still can't really play any instruments. We're working on it, but I can make music. So I came to Columbia in Chicago to go to school, and also because I wanted to stay in a city, and I thought Chicago was a cool city to come to. Yeah, well, I mean, I really started like paying more attention to music actively when I was like in the 8th grade, because that's when my brother started putting me onto music. So I listened to amp radio a lot, and that was all like the pop hits and everything was circulating. But when I started venturing out into my own music, I started with a lot of old school hip hop and rap, and then that kind of went into some R&B and soul and funk, and then I kind of went away for a bit, and I was listening to a lot of dubstep and EDM in like 2013, going hard, and then kind of started making my way back again. But honestly, my friends weren't always super music oriented. I had a couple friends that I would just rotate music around with because they actually listened to the music I did, but everyone else, they just, I don't know, play a playlist and kind of forget about it. The moment I started like really getting into it was around 10th grade, my sophomore year of high school, and 2015, 2016, but then I remember my junior year of high school, I remember I was like on a hike, and I was like, I have to do this, like there's not another option. So it's been like 4 years now, convincing myself that it's gonna happen, so. So supportive. I sat so many of my friends through countless hours of awful beats that they just kind of had to listen to and be like, oh, I like what you did here. And that's about it. But no, they're super supportive. My parents are always really supportive. And yeah, I had my 7th period in my homeroom were the same class, and I was like really close with all of them, my teachers. And anytime I post a new song on SoundCloud, I'd be like, all right guys, new song, let's fucking go. And like that was the listening party, like 7th period. But everyone was always so supportive, and everyone was really just super kind. I did one show that I had to literally not hustle my friends, but hustle my friends and be like, dude, if I don't sell 20 tickets, I'm out $400, and I'm 18, I guess at the time. I was like, I don't. So all my friends bought tickets to a really weird show in the middle of the valley in Los Angeles, and it was so random and so weird. That was my second show. My first show was in the backyard of some dude's house in Santa Monica, and it was just me and a couple friends. And then right after that show, I got a DM. It was in Canoga Park, the Guitar Merchant. It was like some guitar shop, but they had like a venue in the back, and like, you found yourself on SoundCloud, we want you to perform. And I'm like, oh my God, like someone found me, they want me to perform. It's a venue like famous. So I was literally on cloud 9, and like, yeah, you just need to sell 20 tickets for $10 a pop, or else you have to pay it off. And I was like, talking to my mom about it. I'm like, should I do this? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, fuck it, I want to play a venue, let's go. So yeah, we did that show, and it was very odd, great, nice people there, but just like it was like this dude was sitting down with like, he's like 50, it was hard. He had like a little theremin, and he was just going crazy, and like his kids were sitting in the front, like sitting like on the carpet, and then there were like 50-year-olds sitting on chairs in the back, and I'm like with like me and like 15 friends were all in high school, like standing in the back not knowing what to do. And I remember I started the set, and like no one was up front, and I was like, all right guys, I'm literally gonna need you to just come up front and like dance, because I feel weird right now. I know you guys do too. So then we listened up, and it was fun. And then, yeah, it was definitely an odd experience. Probably won't do that type of show again.
What do you feel like was like the number one lesson you learned from your first few shows?
Breathe. Like literally, I was so nervous. I was just, my hands were shaking and I wouldn't know, I would fuck up and press the wrong button and then it would be just super embarrassing. But I think it was just also to not stress and know that like the more intuitive you are with your set, the more calm you are, the easier it's gonna flow. If I used to be so rigid, like this song comes in this and this and this, and it's like, it would just stress me out. Now I'm just I'm learning how to like take it easy, actually listen to the music instead of memorize what I need to do to the music and kind of go from there. Yeah, it was cool. I think the very, very first song I released on SoundCloud was this song called We Turn, and I took like the Nintendo Wii song and like flipped and put some Chief Keef ad-libs over it, just like fuck around. But then the first like real song I put out was when I was just like not happy, and I made this song when I was having a bad night, and then I was like, oh, fuck it, let me just like put it out, so it's just out there. And it's not the best song, but it was really good, because you know when you're like down and you don't know what to do, at least I had something I'd be like, okay, let me just put all of my energy into this, let me focus on that, let me address my energy in it and put it out. And it's really cool. I still have it up there. It's called Little One. She's a sweet little song. But a lot of kids have like, you know, their own collectives nowadays, and I haven't really necessarily fit into a collective, but I have a select group of people that I just really trust. I have a friend, Ondine, who I've been making music with for around a year now, and we came out with a song last year, and she's just phenomenal and just really knows what she's doing and is also just a great person, so I love working with her. My best friend, Mackenzie, back home, I've known him since I was 3, and he's been making music and he's gonna be huge, and I'm so excited for him. But yeah, we send each other demos back and forth and always like telling each other what we can do better, what we should do here and there. And my manager, Olivia, who without her I like would not be doing shit. But yeah, other than that, I have a lot of friends that know how to be honest with me when it comes to my music. But as far as like a collective group where we're all creating art and putting it out together, I've kind of been a free bird with that.
Do you feel like that's more challenging?
I think that's kind of the balance I'm trying to find, because I think one of the main reasons, not the main reason, but a reason why it works that I'm in production is because I am, when it comes to creative projects, very controlling and all hands on, and I want to do everything. I want to produce it, I want to mix it, I want to distribute it, like it's like my child, so I'm very on top of it. But I'm slowly learning how to kind of pull back and like let people trust their artistry and let them do what they want with it. But yeah, I think it's more so like as a producer for myself and for other people, when it comes to like the whole finger beats image and putting myself out as my own artist, I do really kind of turn inwards and just kind of do it on my own. But when it comes to producing for other people and just kind of ghost producing and letting it be their thing, I just kind of let their idea kind of sink in and what they have in mind, and then I just kind of channel into them. So I think it's more so either I'm doing exactly what I want to do, or I'm doing what feels super right for the person I'm in the room with. So when it comes to like a collective, I don't know, I've never been in it. Maybe it could be cool. You know, it's the idea of maybe too many cooks in the kitchen when it gets to a certain point of, okay, if we're still circulating, it's a lot. But it definitely, I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not gonna, you know, create art with people that I don't align with.
Do you think it's hard to find new people to work with?
Yeah, no, honestly, quarantine has made it so easy to meet new people in a weird way. Like I've just been DMing and hitting up so many people that I like how they sound, or like who they seem like they are, and everyone's really responsive now because no one's able to go outside and just like personally network. So if someone bangs your line, you're a lot more, you know, likely to whatever. So I've actually, it's like, it's so hard because I've learned of internet connected with so many amazing people, and I haven't been able to work with them yet because I do like to kind of work in the same room. But it's not too hard to find new people, especially with social media, and I'm pretty bold. I usually say what's up to people first, and I think once all of this kind of settles a bit, hopefully I have a large roster of people to work with. How was this? Well, the very beginning of 2020 was really cool. I got to do a show at the Annex, at Shuba's, and at the Avondale Music Hall in like a span of like a month and a half, and those were like 3 like venues, and I was like, holy shit, like it's happening, let's go. And then, you know, like everything fell. I was like, okay, sounds good. But honestly, it was a blessing in disguise because I really was like not faking it till I made it, but I definitely was winging it more than I should have. And I think this time has really allowed me to just like study music, study sound, practice DJing, practice producing, listening to new music that I have listened to before and actively listening to it instead of just, you know, on the train going here and there or whatever. It's definitely been an incubation period for sure. And with incubation comes a lot of unsettling, you know, ideas and thoughts and emotions. But I think this time of solitude has really allowed me to reflect on like the fact that I breathe this shit and I really want to do it for the rest of my life. So now it's more so about utilizing this time to really put in the work to be at the level that I want to be, so when I'm able to, you know, go out and meet these people I've been sliding in their DMs, I can actually be like, I know this, I know what I'm doing, I know you're doing. Let's make some beautiful music. I do have a project coming out sometime in the spring. We're figuring it out, so that's definitely like a short, long, depending on when we can get that out. I think meeting and working with new, talented people, I do need to kind of get out of my head and out of my own box and start venturing out like that. But just continuing to learn and keeping in mind that like I am still young and like this, it comes when it comes, but what's most important is like genuinely understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it and going from there. So I guess long-term goal is just to like, I don't know, live it that much more and be it that much more and enjoy it that much more. The uncertainty, you know, especially because it's like, it's a career path that you go into that it's, you're not going into it for the stability, you're not going into it for a certain salary, you're going into it because like it's all you know. And like it's scary to think that right now I'm in the time of my life where I'm so young, be like, oh, I'm gonna be traveling the world, doing this, I'm gonna go on tour and be working with this, and I can say that now and it can be realistic, but you know, a couple years down the line, things start to narrow in a bit more and it's gonna be much more challenging depending on where I am to see how I'm gonna continue to do what I'm doing. So I think it's more so just the idea that I've hyped it up so much in my head that this is what I'm gonna do, and if it doesn't happen, you know, that would really hurt. But not focusing on that, not thinking like that, and just trying to not pay attention to the uncertainty because it's fucking terrifying. Make sure it makes you happy first, because it's a very rewarding process if it does and a very draining process if it doesn't. And you know, it's not always rewarding, it's not always draining, but you get both. But I think it's really about, you know, studying and learning and listening to the people and artists around you, but also finding your distinct path and your distinct, you know, ideas and follow it and don't compromise, because the more you start to look around at everyone else is doing everything else, you're just gonna get so lost in what they're doing, you're gonna forget what you're doing. But yeah, to like make sure it makes you happy and to just focus on that and use that as, you know, fuel to continue to create. Honestly, when I made the radio, that was pretty tight. I didn't even know my manager sent it in. Vocalo is amazing. It's a Chicago-based, mostly hip-hop, R&B dance station that really focuses on like highlighting new and up-and-coming Chicago artists. So it was a really good platform for me to get on. And I don't know, I think it's like I've done like really amazing shows and I've gotten to like share awesome spaces with people. I've gotten to meet amazing people, but I think the radio was just like the first thing that was kind of like, oh, like this is real. Like people are in their car and they heard it, and I didn't have to post it on my Instagram, I didn't have to send the link out to my friends, like they just heard it. And I grew up listening to the radio. So I was just really stoked about it. It was funny, like the day was actually supposed to happen. It was on New Music Monday, and I was babysitting these two little girls in Wrigleyville, and I told the ladies I was babysitting, I'm like, hi, I'm gonna be on the radio today. Is it okay if I play this hip hop station for 5 hours while I watch after your 1-year-old and your 3-year-old? I'll turn it down if it's like, you know, like inappropriate, but it's on the radio, it should be fine. And I listened and listened and listened, and I had friends waiting and listening, and it never came on. And I was like, oh, I feel like such an idiot. So I emailed them, professional, I emailed them. And I was like, hey, like, you said I was gonna be on the radio, but I wasn't. So what's up? XOXO, Pinky. And they were just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, cause they said like, oh, Finger Beats coming up next, and then never did. So they're like, I'm sorry, like something got messed up with like the blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm gonna put you on tomorrow at this time, like right here, right now. Well, not here right now. Right here tomorrow. And it actually ended up working out because then it didn't fall under New Music Monday. It was just music, which kind of was cool too. So I got played the next day, and yeah, it was cool. I like made a little video. I like sent it to my parents. I was like, oh, listen, it's mostly just about, you know, making them proud, because they see these shows and they see these posts and they don't really understand. But the people in your life that you've grown up with will understand if you're on the radio. So. Well, it's interesting because when I grew up in LA, it was just, you know, you're in high school, you're fucking around with your friends, you're going to the mall, you're going to someone's house, going to the beach, like not really focused on like the career aspect of the music world. And I have a good amount of family friends in the industry, but it was always like, oh, that's their job. Like that's not, I was never really concerned about it. And then I came to Chicago and I started I was interning at the studio for a while, and just, you know, being in my classes and meeting these people and having speakers come and really like seeing the grit of the city and seeing like how hardworking and collaborative the people of Chicago are. And then people, oh, you're from LA, what's it like? And then I'm like, oh, I guess I never really thought about it. I was always just literally hanging out with my friends and like posting beats to SoundCloud. I didn't think twice about it. But now when I think about LA and I kind of hear the people that come in for certain reasons and the people that leave for certain reasons, I think LA is also very hardworking. People come from all over the world to make it there. I just think there's a bit of a downside to that, because then you get this like population pool of people that are in it for the wrong reasons. I feel like not a lot of people, some people, yeah, but not all people come to Chicago to be a musician. But people come to LA to be a musician or to be a movie star, like something like that. And it's not always because they love their craft, it's because they want a certain accolade or they want a certain lifestyle, and that makes it kind of complicated. But what I've noticed from the music industry as a whole is that everyone who's like genuinely like really like invested in it are great people, and the people that are like super authentic and super hardworking and super successful for the majority are really kind people, and I think that transcends, you know, states or cities. But in a synopsis, I think people in Chicago grind a lot harder on their craft, and people in Los Angeles grind a lot harder on meeting people and networking a bit more and trying to, you know, lock in some people that they know will help them in the long run. It's insane. Like I worked at classic recording studios, and every single person that came in there, whether it was some random dude after his 9 to 5 at like 11 p.m. or like Speedo, every single person was so nice. It was just like, how are you? Like, what's your name? What do you do? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, everyone just treats you like a human, but like, these people come in and they work like so hard. And even just going to Columbia and seeing all these kids that are constantly like trying to put something out and make something of their name and reach out to people, because we're in this perfect position just in my age demographic, and specifically the people who are in my educational institution, is that we're all good at what we do, but we all still need work to get better. We need work for our portfolios or for our resumes, and we're not at this stage where we are charging as much as honestly we probably should be, because everyone's just willing to collaborate. So you're in this like golden period of like, I'm surrounded by talented people who are willing to work for free. Let's go. And it's been really hard because quarantine makes that a lot more challenging. But yeah, people in Chicago, Chicagoans in general have this whole like, we're gonna do this together because we love our city, and that probably really started happening, you know, after all the fires and stuff. But yeah, I just think there's something about Chicago that like people come here and they like stop talking and just start working, and it's really refreshing. Yeah, it's definitely something I've been considering a lot. I've been having tentative plans to move to Berlin just because I want to live in Europe for a part of my life. I was eyeing Amsterdam, I still am. I was eyeing, and still I'm eyeing Paris, just to kind of like get out of the American arts culture for a second, just because it is kind of toxic. If you're the leading entertainment nation of the world, like it's gonna be a lot more like saturated and just like not as authentic, I wanna say, but who knows, maybe I'll move to Berlin and everyone's a fuck ass and then I'll move back, I don't know. But I wanna go back to LA at some point too, because that's home and it's where the business is as well. But I really, before I can think about like where I'd like settle down, I want to live in Europe for like a year at least and just kind of like learn about whatever culture is over there and kind of learn how they think about art more and just try to expand myself a bit more before I promote myself as this artist who can fucking do anything. I don't think I'll ever promote myself like that, but you know. It would be, so I mean, I talked with my friend Mackenzie about moving out there and my manager Olivia. I've been sliding those DMs steady. I've been finding some DJs that seem really cool and just been like trying to just make friendships and just hit them up and like say, hey, hope you're doing well, and just kind of start planting seeds. So if and when I do go, it'd be cool. I was actually gonna go to Paris and Amsterdam in last March, and then everything went to kaput. But I had 2 sessions. I had a session in Amsterdam, a session in France with 2 artists that I'm like obsessed with. So I was really stoked about that. Fell through, but I'd like to think that if and when I do go back, I'd have them to possibly work with or hang out with, make friends. But I mean, I've never been too shabby at making friends, so I think even if I go alone, I'll find a couple pals. Well, the director was my roommate at the time, Siggy Onoski, and basically we had a concept for it that it was going to be this party, but like a tick-off, where it was just kind of weird and you didn't really know what was going on or why it was happening the way it was happening. And we have a lovely, talented friend, AJ, and we invited him over for a night to just kind of, we have this huge loft space in Wicker Park, and we're like, let's just flesh out some ideas, let's be in this space and think about it. So we all sat down at the dinner table and started talking and like created a couple of like weird shot ideas, like pouring like that blue milk, or like we had some like the grapes idea or whatever, and we just started walking around our place and like seeing where things could work out. And from there they started building a shot list and whatnot, and then we got AJ to be the lead cinematographer, and then we also had our friend Anthony do the second camera work. I had a friend Aaron, who was the assistant director, who kept us going. We shot everything in 2 days, which was amazing. The first day of shooting was that little bridge section where people are at the table like putting coins in their mouth and licking their fingers and putting on a candle. Yeah, we did that, and it took like 4 hours, and then for the big, or 5 hours, but then for the big shot of all the party stuff, we basically texted a bunch of friends and we're like, we're doing a music video, we want you to be in it, show up in a monochromatic outfit, so either all red, all orange, all blue, all white, show up, you can get a little buzz if you want before, I don't know, but we're gonna be rolling, so let's do this, but also thank you for being involved in this, I'm not paying you, see you soon. And everyone showed up, and we had we did a couple like group shots where all of us were in it, but then we had 2 cameras going at the same time, so we were shooting one scene over here, and then we just kept on going back and forth and got it done in like another 5 hours, and that was it. And then our friend Riley agreed to edit it, and he did an amazing job. And yeah, it was just really phenomenal because it was just from the directors to the cinematographers to the editors to the extras, like every single person involved is like a really talented person. I just rewatched the video and I'm like, oh my God, like half of these people in here are gonna be famous in 5 years. It's crazy. And not for any other reason besides the fact that they're just like hardworking, talented, creative people. And it was just a really, really awesome experience to just have so many amazing, talented people like associated with my art. It was just so cool. And yeah, we used, you know, like the equipment that AJ had. We rented some equipment from our school and we just did it probably with like $100. I bought some like weird props with like money, and we had these little glittery things that are on the floor. If you saw, like we were driving on Dean on the skateboard, them hoes are still in the wood. Like I can't get them out, they're everywhere. We shot over a year ago, but yeah, it was really cool. It was just like a very collaborative experience with like a bunch of talented friends. Well, I've been working on this project Taste Test for a while. It's gonna be a most likely 4-song EP, and it's supposed to kind of be this charcuterie board of genres in the sense where it's 4 different songs, 4 different genres, all unified with house undertones. So, you know, there's gonna be like, I don't wanna say too much, but basically just a bunch of, a couple songs that I've been working on for a year to a couple months on, and I'm just really trying to put my foot in the water and say that, hey, you can have a cohesive sound under an umbrella of a certain genre while still, you know, having outside influences play a significant role in the translation of that song. So hopefully it'll be cool. Hopefully people will like it. It's the first project I've put out for a while, and the first project I'm putting out on streaming services. I have 2 other EPs and an album, but that was only like SoundCloud releases. So this is gonna be the first one that I'm actually like properly distributing, and I hope it works out.
At the end of the day, like what really drives you?
Bitches. No, I'm kidding. No. It's honestly, there's a lot of things that drive me. I think the main thing that does is that the magical moments, and that happens in all parts of the process. So like making a song in my room for hours and hours, it's not working, and then I finally like add something or take something away or do something, and it just like clicks, and it like fills you. I'm like jumping in my room, like hyping myself, like holy shit, this is fire. All of a sudden the next day it will be trash, but in that moment I'm feeling it. Or like if I'm doing a show and I just see people just like laughing and smiling and having a good time, or like I eat a fucking transition and it sounds great and people scream, like those are amazing. Or like sitting in the car, like driving around Indiana for like an hour and a half, just like playing a beat over and over and over again with my manager and just like making the lyrics together, and then, or getting a stem back from someone else if they sent something, and then I play it back for the first time and I hear it and I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking amazing. It's like those little moments where like you realize you've created something bigger than yourself. It's just phenomenal, because I don't know, it's very interesting. There's not many careers that people go into for this idea of like fame and accomplishment, but like if you're gonna be a dentist, you're gonna wanna fix teeth, like you're not gonna wanna like be on a red carpet. And it's like, it's so many people go into this with the idea like, oh, it's the lifestyle, blah, blah, like, but what's so cool about music is like the idea of making something bigger than yourself. It's not to say that it's like, oh, like, I'm making something big, like I'm God or some weird shit. It's like, you're removing yourself from the art, you're removing yourself from the process, and you're seeing it's like your baby, it's your child. It's like no one gives birth to babies like, oh fuck yeah, like I'm a mom. Like actually, honestly, I'll probably do that. Like pumping out a baby is crazy, but like it's about the kid, you know? It's about the baby. It's about watching them grow up. It's about seeing how that child goes to impact other people's lives and influence other people's lives. And if I can do that with music, and I can create something, let it go into the world, and then hear 5 years later that it changed someone's life, like, dude, that's like all I can. It's magic. It's literally magic. So I think, yeah, just the moments of just getting a DM saying like, oh, like, I really like your music, keep going. Some random kid in like, I don't know, Sweden or something. Like, it's crazy. It keeps reminding me like, okay, I need to do this to impact and inspire as many people as I can.
How about like outside of music? Do you have any like friends that are doing like film or like any like? Do you have any other like aspirations?
Yeah. The majority of my friends at Columbia are all like film kids or photographers, so definitely I'd always love to dabble in film. My dad was a feature film editor, so for a while I wanted to do that and do that whole thing. But yeah, I'm really into film. I think fashion's super dope too. I'm also really interested in just like curating events and just like having spaces for that. I really want to like focus on like the foundation of my music, but like talking with my manager and stuff about merch and how we want to do that, because I've done one run and I'm sitting on another. I've been for a year. These t-shirts have just been in this box on my roof for so long. I really hope they don't get moldy. I can't even figure it out. But I was just talking about that, and like not necessarily if I ever were to like blow up and have merch and whatnot, for it to be kind of its own brand and not necessarily just like Finger Beats logo or whatever, because it's not really what I want to do. But yeah, furniture I think is super dope too. Like feng shui of the room is everything. Your space is everything. So I definitely would love to be a multimedia artist and go into a bunch of different areas. But I'm gonna use music as my my pathway into the ocean of possibilities. The synesthetic portion of what I try to like get across with my stuff is pretty prevalent, in the sense like with taste tests we're trying to do like, you know, something that activates a sense beyond just audio. We're trying to partner with some other things, but I won't say it yet, just to, you know, figure it out before I, you know, just say it. But there's that, and then with the Farther music video, you know, just trying to incorporate, you know, like little things like sequins and like grapes and like milk and shit. But for the image, I've always been like, with my sound, I always kind of like to associate it with color, and I do get a lot of like a pink purple vibe from my stuff, because it is this very like vibrant but it's also this like has some mellow, melancholic at times undertones to it. So just thinking about that, and okay, what does like purple and pink kind of mean? And it's kind of, you can have this like pop with this little flare, but you can also have this, you know, kind of muted tone, and kind of thinking about that in the way I dress and the way I talk to people and the way I present myself. I try to, like, even when I'm performing, I'll go ham for a minute, and then I'll just kind of, you know, vibe out for a little bit. And I watch Boiler Rooms all the time. I will literally mention to the day I die, but Kate Renata is such an inspiration to me, and his photo shoots with GQ were super hard. Same with Steve Lacy. His photo shoots with GQ were insane. I love his gender genre bending that he fucking does, and I think there's a lot more that I can do with the way I express myself and the way I brand myself. But yeah, just trying to keep my sound in mind, and then think like, okay, how does that translate outwards? I've never been a super like feminine girl. I've never been a super masculine girl either. I kind of try to dip in and out where I can, and to see people who do that too is really dope to see. But I'd say Kate Renata and Steve Lacy are pretty hard. Again, don't really have that many female icons, just because. Peggy Yu though, oh, she's so hard. She's so hard. She's definitely more luxury based. Once I stop thrifting everything and actually have a couple coins, I'll be up there with her.
Have you seen Kate Renata live?
Yeah, no, I've seen him live twice. I saw him at the Novo in downtown LA right before so that was the end of 2016, December 2016, my junior year. And it was so cool because he was still a bit more low-key, like Bubba hadn't come out yet, and I used to Snapchat him sometimes, and he'd like reply. It was so fucking cool. And so I was like, and this is actually the concert where I met my manager. I met my manager at this concert, and then at a Still Woozy concert, and then we're like, okay, there's something going on, what's going on? So, but I met her there, and I was front and center at Kate Renata, and I was wearing this like pink rose hat and this like 80s like windbreaker. It was like purple and pink and fucking like super vibrant. And I recorded, and I like tapped it, looked at me, and I said, and I said peep the bitch in the front with the pink hat. And I saw he opened it and I was like, okay, bet, like he knows. Goes on, does a set, it's phenomenal. I lost my mind. And then he goes to like, you know, like try to high five people at the end, but there's like maybe a 3-foot gap between the stage and the barrier or whatever, and I'm on the barrier and he's on the stage and he's trying to like reach, so he's just like reaching whatever, trying to whatever, and doesn't get it, and he like comes up to me, I'm like, Keitra, the hat. He looks at me and goes, oh, what's up? Leans as far as he can, only daps me, and then fucking goes off stage, and I'm like, oh my god, holy shit. And then he came off stage after and like talked to us a little, like signed my hat, got a selfie, and I'm like really scary. Yeah, and I saw him at Coachella, which was cool, but like it's different when you see a music artist you really fuck with at a music festival, because festivals are amazing for discovering artists. That's what's so great about them. But if you go to artists you've already discovered and you know you love, and you're surrounded by people who are like, oh my god, is this like Calvin Harris? Like, it hurts. So it wasn't as good as a show, and that's just because of the crowd, not because of him. And yeah, I was supposed to see him in May. That flopped. Hopefully maybe this May I'll see him. But yeah, he's a spunky little guy. I like him. Thank you guys so much for watching Vision Vocal. You can find me on Instagram at fingerbeatsofficial or stream me at fingerbeats. Have a lovely day.